2, 3. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? Welcome to another episode of VR 365. It is currently 4:07 p.m. I am live here in Sacramento, California. A little bit of technical difficulties before we got started today, but that's pretty much normal for VR 365. Yeah, so it's been a long time since I've been on this channel. What is going on? What is the deal? Well, I don't really have anything to say about that, but there's major news about PlayStation VR. Apparently, Sony actually gives an F about VR. That's pretty incredible. I am getting this message, by the way, guys, that it's telling me that I'm having problems with not receiving enough bandwidth or something. So let me know if everything is okay on your end. Are you guys getting me okay? Just wanted to double check real quick before I continue with this. Yeah, so anyways, going back to the subject at hand. So what are we talking about here? Yeah, so I think the biggest individual piece of news out of this entire thing is that Sony cares about VR again. Or they appear to care about VR again. Okay, so apparently everything's okay. Yeah, I don't know why I keep getting these error messages on in the YouTube studio, but it really makes it seem like something is incredibly wrong and that I need to exit out and try over again. But everything's all right. All right, so yeah, that was pretty much the big story that has come out this week, has been all about Sony and the fact that PlayStation VR 2 is an actual real thing. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to figure out what exactly is going on here. What are the details? And so Jim Ryan had an interview with GQ. PlayStation's Jim Ryan. We're making a completely new VR format for PlayStation 5. And you guys already know this. I'm sure you guys have already watched about 20 different shows talking about the fact that PlayStation VR is back. But really, there are a couple of key little points that he did make here. So I just want to go over it really quick in terms of the actual comments that he made. And so he says, all right, PlayStation VR 2, the second PlayStation VR. What are we calling it at the moment? We're not calling it anything at the moment. So the obvious question is, what's changed from the first headset? So this will be a completely new VR format for PlayStation 5. Blah, 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 blah. Basically, he says there are two themes that you're going to see. Us capturing the technological progress that has taken place since the present VR system came to market, and a considerable amount of lessons learned. Because the present system was our first one. Changes will be things like moving to a very easy single cord setup with this one and many other similar learnings. Dev kits are about to go out. And then they say, well, VR is getting a lot more traction now, but it's still a nascent market. Why make a follow-up to the first headset? He says, we believe in VR and have been extremely happy with the results with the present PlayStation VR and think we'll do good business with our new VR system for PlayStation 5. More importantly, we see it as something beyond this coming iteration that could be really big and really important. In other words, after this generation, maybe the next one will actually be a big deal. We like to innovate. We think our community likes us to innovate. I'd turn around the question and say, why not? For us, it's a very logical step to take. We're very excited by it, and we think that people who are going to make VR games for our new VR system are going to be very excited too. So he says there's going to be one cord, and then he just says that was very simple and visible illustration of a lesson that we've learned from when iterating from the present system to the new one. We're not actually releasing any specs at this stage. That will start to come over the course of this year when we'll be talking more. Then they talk about like, developer support, and he's like, yeah, duh. I mean, obviously we're going to have the appropriate software support. And so anyway, that's pretty much the interview there. But obviously the big news here, I mean, the key news of this whole entire thing is that this is going to be an accessory for PlayStation 5. So this is going to be an accessory for PlayStation 5. And the question that I want to pose, really, hold on here. I want to just get a different trailer up on the screen. So the question, that I want to pose is this the correct direction for Sony? Like, is this really the right idea? Because I don't know that this is the right idea. Nobody, I'm not going to say nobody's talking about this, because I'm sure there's plenty of people talking about this, but I don't know if they're going to make it as big of a deal as I'm going to make it. There's a problem here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a headset that is being designed to be an accessory to another device that I don't want to buy. I'm sorry, man. I don't want to buy a PlayStation 5. I have no plans to buy a PlayStation 5. Why is Sony coming out with a product that is literally going to force me to go buy some $500 thing and then buy the thing that I actually want to use with the PlayStation 5? Now, I get it. I know the hardcore Sony fans are going to be like, dude, man, PlayStation 5, it's the incredible graphics, man. This is like next level. Like, it's going to be a whole new world of VR. If it was a standalone, it wouldn't have those capabilities, man, and it wouldn't really be pushing the cutting edge. All right, but the bottom line that I want to talk about is, what about mass market? All right, what about the elephant in the room, which of course is the Oculus Quest 2 for $299. Now, this thing is coming out in 2022. We already know this thing is not coming this year. It's coming in 2022. And by that time, there's no question about it, we're going to get an Oculus Quest 3. And I honestly feel like this is a swing and an effing miss. This is a swing and miss by Sony. And here's the thing. You know what they're doing? They're doing the comfortable thing. They're doing the Sony thing. The thing that they feel good about, because they know that they really can't go head-to-head and toe-to-toe with Facebook in the standalone market. There is a monster, ladies and gentlemen. There is a ginormous monster in the forest, and it is ripping the forest to shreds. But you know what Sony's going to do? They've got their little village that's a little bit away from the forest, and they're going to build their huts over there, and they're just not going to worry about the monster that's in the forest. They're just going to ignore the monster that's in the forest. But the monster that's in the forest is coming for that ass. The monster that's in the forest is in Target. It's in Walmart. It's in a single box. It's in a relatively small box, by the way. That's a pretty friggin' small box, by the way. All right? So the average family of 4 can walk into a Walmart, they can walk into a Target, they can walk into a Costco, and they can buy an Oculus Quest 2. And in 2022, they're going to be buying an Oculus Quest 3. And you want to talk about learning your lessons and getting better at an iteration and following things up? Oculus ain't stopping, man. So Sony had an opportunity here. They had a real opportunity. They could do the typical standard thing, which is to make an accessory. So they're making an accessory. That is a product. That is an individual product. They're making an accessory. They didn't have to do this. No one put a gun to Sony's head and said, you absolutely have to make a headset for PlayStation 5. So now they're making something for a device which I don't give an F about. Now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, oh, wait a minute, Anthony. Hold on a minute. You're going to say, Anthony, there was 100 million PlayStation VRs, 100 million PlayStation 4s that were sold last generation. Maybe it's like 120 million by now. An incredible number of PlayStation 4s were sold last generation. So isn't the same thing going to happen with PlayStation 5? I don't know because I sure as hell didn't buy one. I bought a PlayStation 4 the day it came out. I didn't buy a PlayStation 5. I don't have a PlayStation 5, and I have absolutely no interest in buying one. And so now, let's just say for shits and giggles that this thing really does come out in 2022, and it's incredible. And let's say they get the price of this accessory down to $299.99. Relatively affordable in a sort of a way. But then I still got to buy this $500 thing and another $300. That's $800. Why am I going to do that? Is this the road of VR? Is this where VR is going? No. I believe we're in a standalone world. This is a standalone world. You need to live in the reality of the standalone world. A single wire ain't good enough. That's why Phil Spencer from Xbox is like, the living room should be wireless. That's Xbox. That's Xbox's whole stance. The living room should be wireless. You shouldn't have a headset with a wire in the living room. Well, Sony, aren't you a living room device? Why is there a wire? So, look, I know I'm coming off super negative. It's just when this news hit, I was super disappointed, man. I was super disappointed because I thought Sony was going to have the courage. I really did. I thought Sony was going to have the courage, but because you know what? In March of 2019, I was in San Francisco at GDC, all right, where they were unveiling the Oculus Quest. Okay, this was before the Oculus Quest came out, and I was standing in line to get a demo of the Oculus Quest. And you know who was standing right in front of me? Shuhei Yoshida. Shuhei Yoshida was standing right in front of me. I could have talked. He was there for like an hour and a half. I could have talked to him, but I didn't want to be that guy that bought, he was busy doing stuff. I didn't want to interfere with him. But he was standing in line to try the Oculus Quest. And the thing that I really wanted to talk to him about, is I wanted to say, hey, so this is the future, right? This is where you guys got to go, right? Like you guys got to compete with this. Like you guys got to go head to head with this. You can't just be scared. You can't just run away. No one wants to compete with Facebook. Nobody wants to compete with them. No one wants to get in a price war with them, and they've already got their library. But here's the thing that really disappoints me the most about this whole thing. The number one thing that disappoints me is, of all the companies on planet Earth that are involved in the VR ecosphere, Sony is the only one with a smidgen of a chance to go up against Oculus and Facebook, because Sony does have an entire library of VR games that they could hopefully somehow make backwards compatible or somehow lean on that and have that existing library. That is an advantage. Sony has all their first-party studios that they can get involved. But it's kind of like a losing proposition for them. So I feel like, honestly, they're taking the familiar way out. They're taking the easy way out. And basically what they're doing here is they're saying, no, we're not going to go head to head with Facebook. We don't want to get in a price war with them. So we're going to make this device that's an accessory that you got to buy. Who out there owns a PlayStation 5? Does everyone in chat, is any of the people that are in chat, do you own a PlayStation 5? Why? Why would you own? Dude, $600 or whatever it is, buy a new graphics card. Buy a new graphics card for your computer. Get a better CPU, or set the money aside to get a better graphics card. See, that's what I don't get. is people that are just like, I just gotta buy this because this is the video game thing to do. PlayStation 5, of course I want it because everybody wants it, and I am an American, and we are consumers, and we buy things, and we buy things, and we buy things. Oh, and there's also limited availability. So it gives me a feeling of superiority to grab a limited device that a lot of people can't get, and here I am playing my PlayStation 5 on launch day. I had no interest, bro. No interest whatsoever in no PlayStation 5 on launch day. Why? Why am I spending $600 for that? I mean, you would have to make something so freaking spectacular, it would have to blow my mind to want to spend $600 on a VR headset, much less some freaking box that I'm going to need just to be able to operate the VR headset. Like, I don't know. And then we can get into the discussion as well. Well, let's talk about like controllers and tracking and all of that sort of thing. Look, I know I'm being hardcore negative. That's okay. Let's roll with it. I will be positive a little bit later. Right now, I'm going to go on the negative side of the coin. So, number one, mistake made. Although, if they did go head-to-head with Facebook, damn, that would be a battle. But Sony would not want to enter the price war. That's the problem. Sony would not be willing to lose the amount of money per individual unit that Facebook is capable of losing. So Sony knows this. So they're avoiding the freaking elephant in the room. They're avoiding King Kong in the room. I mean, there is this giant monster in the forest just wrecking havoc, and Sony's just going to go over here and pretend that monster didn't exist. It's kind of like Lost, and it's like the smoke monster. The smoke monster is Oculus, and Sony's pretending there's no smoke monster. Okay, so anyways, let me go ahead and back out and let's see. I want to go back over here to, let's go to the webinar chat so I can actually see what people are talking about. Sorry. Okay. Anthony is unaware of the crypto bubble. Okay. Paul P. If there is good exclusives is the only reason I would get one. Okay. Anthony, little offensive, dude. Think I'll spend my time someplace else. Goodbye. Sorry, bro. Can't deal with reality. Sorry, bro. PlayStation sure don't know yet about PSVR 2 is all about yet. Can't wait to buy an RTX 3090 at market value. It's easier and cheaper to get a PS5 than a GPU. Yeah, okay, I get it. But I don't know why anyone wants to pay $600 for a PlayStation 5. Like, if you're a VR gamer, that is such a waste of resources. It's such a tremendous waste of resources to spend 600 bones on a PlayStation 5 that barely makes PlayStation VR games any better at all. You're waiting years for the real thing. And like, when the real thing comes out, Sony gets one chance at this. They get one crack at it. They're not releasing new headsets every year or every 18 months like Facebook is. They're not going to release a new headset as often as maybe Valve will. Valve is actually going to have an Index 2 a lot sooner than probably a lot of people think. Sony is going to have one crack at this. So when it comes to resolution, when it comes to field of view, when it comes to their tracking system, when it comes to their controllers. Okay, so the other huge criticism I have with this whole thing is the controllers. And let me see if I can find Sony PSVR controller patent. Sony PSVR controller patent. Yeah, so this is not something I'm excited about at all. It's Valve Index. Let's copy the Valve Index. Of all the controllers to copy, the Valve Index controller? Really? And this whole capacitive thing, like understanding whether or not your fingers are there, Is this 2017, man? Is this 2017? I thought we were in 2021, and I thought when this headset was coming out, it was going to be 2022. But this controller is going to use capacitive like sensors for your fingers to see if they're there or not? What is this? You're going to tell me that the Quest 3 is not going to be able to track my hands and my controllers at the same time? Because I'm telling you it will. It will, because it's only logical to do so. It is a shortcoming that the Quest 2 is not capable of because they weren't thinking of that at that time. Quest 3 should have additional cameras, should be able to track your hands and the controllers simultaneously. So all future headsets in the entire world above the price of like $300 or $400 should be able to track your hands and the controllers simultaneously. Like, especially a headset that is coming out in 2022 when Sony gets one single crack at this. There's only going to be this one headset probably for PlayStation 5. It's going to have to last for like 4 years. They get one crack at this, and you're telling me they're not going to be able to track your hands and your controllers simultaneously? Because I'm betting dollars to donuts that the Oculus Quest 3 will be able to do that with its hands tied behind its back. That is just going to be a standard feature among other things like full color pass-through, no wires whatsoever, being able to wirelessly connect with Steam and play PC VR games. See, Sony doesn't even have to, like, Sony can make their headset, they could do exactly what Facebook is doing. Facebook doesn't give an F about PC gaming, and Sony doesn't have to care about that either. They can let everybody else handle it. They can just allow you to get into Steam with their standalone headset that they could have had, but now they're not going to have. And I just disagree. I'm sorry. I disagree with anybody out there that thinks a peripheral is a good idea. It's just not a good idea. This is the future, man. It is time to move forward. Like, families don't want to, like, if I'm a family and I'm thinking about buying like the cool VR toy for the entire family, I'm going to be like, I got to buy a PlayStation 5. That's $600. $500. Okay, maybe by 2022, $400. Yay! And I get to buy a $300 headset as well. That's $700. Or for maybe $300, I get the Oculus Quest 3, and it comes in one box, and the cameras are tracking your hands, your controllers, scanning your effing room, no wires whatsoever, the ability to connect to Steam if need be. And Sony is also making games on PC, so they could even make it work off of that. Tying it to PlayStation 5, I know they're a console company. What do you expect them to do? But also, it's like they had 5% penetration. 5% penetration with their entire audience on PlayStation 4. Now that worked out to a hell of a lot of people because they had 100 million of those things out there in the wild. It's going to take them a long time, in my opinion, to have 100 million PlayStation 5s installed out there throughout a worldwide audience. It's going to take them a long time to have 50 million. It's going to take them a long time to have 20 million. Okay, maybe not that long to have 20 million. But we're talking, they had 5% penetration. 5% penetration. Why would we think this is going to be some super successful thing? So those are the negative things that I have to say about this, because I'm disappointed in Sony's vision. That's all there is to it. Like, I thought I was standing in line. Shuhei Yoshida was right in front of me. This was in March. This was 2019. We were about to try the Quest, and I could see in this glass booth, there's the future. And Shuhei could see the future as well. And they decided that they didn't want to go head-to-head with that. I understand that, because that's a battle. It's a difficult battle. If anyone could possibly go toe-to-toe with Facebook, Sony could, from the ecosystem standpoint, from like the PlayStation Store, all the bevy of developers they have, all their internal talent like Japan Studio, they've got chops. They've got they could bring Farpoint, right? We know Impulse Gear. Impulse Gear, we've got some special announcements to make. So here's the good spin, ladies and gentlemen. The good spin is we are going to see some really cool shit. And I'm sure this headset is going to look super. There's going to be tons of incredibly exciting things about this headset. I don't want to try to rain on the entire parade. Let me see if I can grab a different trailer real quick because I've been stuck on this one for a long time. I don't want to rain on the entire parade and say this is just the most awful thing ever. Sony ruined it. Terrible decision. They should have went directly head to head with Facebook. They should have had a standalone. It should have been the PlayStation Vita of PlayStation VR. It should be a new thing. You shouldn't have to buy an additional $500 box, etc., etc., etc. But we are going to see some pretty fucking amazing things. Excuse me. We're going to see some really nice things, okay? Because Impulse Gear, the developer of this game, Farpoint, they've got something special to announce. Remember, we still haven't gotten that announcement yet. So as Sony starts doing these different events, basically what they're going to be able to do here is they're going to be able to string along enough little tidbits of the headset here and this game we're making for the headset, and we're exploring concepts and all this stuff. They're going to be able to do all of that over the next 18 months or so, because it's possible that, this headset is likely coming in 2022. It could be late 2022. They don't really have any particular reason to rush this thing out. In fact, if anything, they've got plenty of reason to delay this launch until November of 2022. Why? Because it just allows for that much bigger of an install base to develop on PlayStation 5. They only had 5% penetration last time. So what kind of numbers are we looking at? Although they will only be able to make a limited number of headsets right away. So maybe they won't be worried about that as too much. But yeah, we're going to see some amazing stuff. They have incredible studios. They have incredible talent. This is one of the best VR games I've ever played. It's one of the best PlayStation VR games, bar none. There's no question about it. They've got some incredible games all throughout their lineup. I have no doubt that we're going to see some amazing things from Sony in the coming months with all these unveilings that they're going to make of various games that they're working on. And I'm looking for a different trailer. I was hoping I had some more Sony trailers up in here, but not really, hardly anything. I know Stride is coming to PlayStation VR. So I can throw this on real quick. But let's just go ahead and step back over here. But let me go ahead and see what folks are talking about in chat. Let's see. JT Marin, I don't want Sony to make a Quest competitor. I want high-end experiences. But why can't there be high-end? Why is there a cord? Why is there, even if this does require a freaking PlayStation 5, and oh, by the way, I will give one caveat, ladies and gentlemen. I guess there's still a slight chance that this could be a hybrid, but probably not, because they talked about one cord and they talked about PlayStation 5. So based on the quotes that were given, I do not believe this is going to be some type of hybrid that can work as a standalone and also work with PlayStation 5. That's a slight caveat. There is some slight possibilities that maybe they could kind of shock it and add that as a possibility. And the cord that they're talking about is like a detachable cord. I seriously doubt it, though. I believe this is a device. It's an accessory made for PlayStation 5. And I understand the idea and concept behind that. That's their history. But in the face of a competitor like the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 and the Quest 4, this isn't going to stop, guys. It's not going to stop. I know you don't want a Quest competitor, but this isn't going to stop. This problem is not going to go away. Apple's going to have to deal with this problem eventually. Google is going to have to deal with this problem eventually. Now, Valve could just stay in PC land and be like, well, we'll just be fine over here in PC world. And Facebook might be like, yeah, go ahead. You're fine in PC world, and we're going to do our own thing over here. And they might just stay away from each other. So maybe Valve doesn't really have to worry about it. But all these other companies, any company that has a long-term vision for like widespread mass adoption of virtual reality, this is a problem that is not going away. And pretending the problem doesn't exist is not the way to confront it. I just think a lot of people, so it's like, we're talking about VR being successful, and it's like, You're making me spend $800 to get this PSVR 2 experience. Like put me, okay, I'm going to go ahead in time into November 2022. So I'm going into the future. November of 2022, Farpoint 2, Astrobot 2, Wipeout, the new experience. All these freaking PlayStation classics coming back with brand new VR versions that are gonna be incredible. Spider-Man VR on PlayStation VR 2, officially in 160 diagonal degrees. Okay, so yeah, they're gonna have some good games and stuff, but next November, here's the bottom line. Next November, am I going to go to my ATM and am I going to withdraw $800 or $900 for a PlayStation 5 and a PSVR 2? I don't think I'm going to do that, man. Despite how amazing like Farpoint and a lot of their franchises are, Wipeout, Astrobot, Resident Evil, all the freaking Sony franchises. They got Insomniac, they have Insomniac there. But in spite of all that, man, god damn, it's going to be a hard sell. You know why it's going to be a hard sell? Because the Valve Index 2 is probably going to be out at the same time, or some incredible, there's going to be something else. There's always money to be spent. There's money to be spent on this GPU. There's money to be spent on a CPU. I need to get new RAM, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're spending money on your PC. There's money to be spent, man. And it's just a big ask. It's just a really huge ask. When Facebook, their ask is going to be like $300. Every year their ask is going to be $300. And it's going to improve, and you can still use it with the PC. See, that's the other point. You can still use it with the PC. So I don't know. I'm disappointed in the I'm disappointed it's peripheral. Bottom line. Disappointed it's a peripheral. All right. Let's see. Paul P. Jr. If they have a bundle with PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2 for under $1,000, I might be jumping for it. But you got to fast forward in time to November 2022. And yeah, it should be under $1,000. It should absolutely be under $1,000 because PlayStation 5 should have come down a little bit in price by then. I mean, we're talking late 2022. So it should come down in price probably by at least $100. So it should at least be $100. And then because they know this is a friggin' accessory, like they can't, like if they price it for $399.90, I mean, maybe it might be damn near $1,000. It might be damn near $1,000. All right, let's see. Isn't the PS5 $399 and $499? Is it? Oh, it's $400 and $500? I thought it was 600 bones. No, see, that's how much I know about it, because I have less than zero interest. I have no time. Like, VR is my thing. I like VR games. All I play is VR. I have no time for flat. I'm sorry. I'm going to go straight to this thing where I have no time for flat. I have no interest for flat. No interest. And I know that's not the popular thing. I know everybody wants to be like, oh, I sample from everything. I play good games. If there's good games, I play them. I don't discriminate whether they're flat, pancakes, or VR. I just like good games. But for me, man, all I play is VR games. So every decision that I'm going to make is about VR. And that's why it's like, damn, you really want me to spend $800-900 for this combo, bro? When with that could buy you a really high-end PC VR head. See, those of you that are PC VR people, I don't get where you get this PlayStation 5 money. But there's a lot of people that just have money to burn. I don't have money to burn. Maybe I'm in a lower economic status. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm in this I'm lower middle class, don't have a lot of money I don't have a PlayStation 5. There's no PlayStation 5 here, ladies and gentlemen. There's no Xbox One X, XX. I have none of these. I don't even have a Nintendo Switch. I've got an Oculus Quest 2, I've got a Quest 1, and I've got a CV1, and I've got a PlayStation 4 Pro, and I got a PSVR version 2. That's what I've got. That's it. I had a Valve Index, let it fly away. I had a Rift S, FOV was too tiny for me with the IPD problem that I got. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? I mean, I had a Vive a long time ago. Let's see. It's funny. I know this show has been weird. PSVR won't be out in November. No, I'm talking November 2022. I'm saying November 2022 because I mean, it depends. It depends when they want to bring that out. But the reason why I would say November 2022 is it gives them all this extra time to have developers. So here's one really nice thing about this whole deal. You want to go to the positives of PlayStation VR 2 when it does come out. Here's a serious positive because Sony is in absolutely no rush whatsoever to deliver this product right now because they are selling an accessory. This is the problem. You know, it's a dual-edged sword. They're going to be selling an accessory because of that. The install base is actually an important thing. So they want to have the proper install base before they're going to bring this product out. So delaying this into late 2022 just gives them a larger potential install base to work with. And one really good aspect of that is think of all the developers right now that could basically be working on games for almost 2 years. So they would get a really long development time leading up to launch. These wouldn't be rush jobs. You know, they would have a solid 1.5 years at least with the dev kit, and even more time if they've already started some general development before any of this has happened, and then they're just going to convert it once they get the PSVR 2 dev kit. So yeah, anyways, that's pretty much my thoughts on PlayStation VR 2, the announcement. I mean, I'm still excited. I didn't think Sony was going to completely quit VR. That seems ridiculous. So I don't think I really honestly considered that as a possibility. And I pretty much figured that this is probably what they were going to do. It's the safe decision to make, but there was a part of me that was really rooting for them to be like, nah, man, freaking go head to head, go toe to toe. Don't be scared. Get in there. Go head to head. You're going to get your ass knocked out, but do it anyways. God damn it. But they're not doing it. All right. So let's go ahead and go back to the webinator. Let's go back to the webinator and see what other thing I can talk about that is recent information that I actually checked out recently. Let's see here. I did see this, and this is interesting. Microsoft Ignite is going to host immersive mixed reality keynote next week. Okay, so the first time I heard about this, I heard that gaming fellow or whatever fellow or what technical fellow, right? Technical fellow, Alex Kipman. Technical fellow Alex Kipman. I heard he was going to be here and he was going to give like a talk, but in the first story that I heard about it, they were like, this probably is going to have nothing to do with VR or AR at all. This probably has nothing to do with it. But now it seems like, no, there is going to be something really big from a VR AR standpoint. So it says, those joining inside a mixed reality headset will apparently experience more immersion than you've ever seen before. Now, there's a promise. I don't know. I'm just wondering if maybe we'll get some information, like maybe they could get into, Windows Mixed Reality 2.0. But I don't know. I don't know if anything like that's going to happen. But we're definitely going to check into that when that happens. Windlands 2 PlayStation VR is still coming. I had no idea that was happening. I thought for sure Windlands 2 would never be on PlayStation VR. I mean, I heard the rumor that it was going to happen, but to me, I thought that game wouldn't run very good on PlayStation VR. There was some more interesting stories that I've seen recently that I did want to comment on. Wait, hold on. Let me go to... Sorry, guys. This was just like a spur-of-the-moment episode, so I didn't really have anything planned. But I think... let me see if I had some other information. Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find a trailer for that. Okay, so, this is some, it's kind of related to PlayStation VR, this news right here, but let me see if I can find a proper trailer. Hold on a minute. Yeah, this is where it would actually prepare. It would be nice if I actually had, like, everything lined up, what I was going to do, actually gave an F, but, oh, man, I'm not seeing it. Okay. That sucks. Hold on. Oh, my computer's going painfully slow. Damn it! I wanted to try to get a oh, I'm all over the place. Here we go. Okay, sorry guys. Discombobulation City. All right, I wanted to try to find proper trailer for this next little story, but can't find one. So anyway, what I'll do is we'll just go to so yeah, the Persistence, which of course is it's now on Steam, mostly positive, and this of course is known as one of the best PlayStation VR games. On PlayStation VR, the Persistence for a long time, exclusive to PlayStation VR for the longest time. The developer of this game is Firesprite. And they were in the news recently because apparently they are hiring people. They're hiring like some assistant producers and stuff for a project that, oh, wait, I think I have the quote. Let me see if I can find the quote. Yeah, so in recent job listings, it was mentioned we're looking for a lead producer to assist with all aspects of planning and delivery on a VR action-adventure project adapted from one of the most original and successful multi-million selling console IP titles in the last 10 years. Okay, now the part where he says in the last 10 years is unfortunate because what I first thought about was, I mean, the first thing that just popped into my mind, and I'm sure it popped into everybody else's mind as well, right? I mean, what do you immediately think of? I think of Electronic Arts, I think of Dead Space, and I think of Electronic Arts basically saying, what would be the perfect, because Electronic Arts eventually is going to start dipping their toes in the VR waters. They've already done that a little bit, and they're going to keep doing this. So they're going to dip their toes in the VR waters a little bit here and there. And I thought, oh shit, maybe Electronic Arts got Firesprite to make a Dead Space VR spin-off game. in the Dead Space universe. I mean, maybe not a remake of Dead Space or Dead Space 2 or Dead Space 3 or anything like that, but maybe a VR game / experience in the Dead Space universe. And what other developer would be more perfect to do that than Firesprite after they did the Persistence? Because the Persistence was basically freaking Dead Space without the license in a certain way. I mean, it was very, like, anybody that played the Persistence got very, very strong Dead Space vibes with it. Now, the last 10 years thing, Dead Space 3 was like 2013, I believe. Let's see, Dead Space 3? February 5th, 2013. That's the last 10 years. So maybe there's a possibility that Firesprite could actually be working on a Dead Space game. So that is super cool. I'm definitely hopeful for that. Probably not, probably not. It's probably something completely unrelated and probably has nothing to do with that. But that would be exciting nonetheless. All right, so I did know that I wanted to talk about that. Okay, so one other topic I did want to talk about briefly here. Let me get into another area here. Another little topic we could talk about for a quick second is the $199 refurbished Oculus Quest 1s. Now, I talked about this a little bit on the MRTV podcast on Saturday, Next Dimension podcast. We talked about this a little bit, but I actually think this is a really cool deal. And I'm going to say pretty much the same thing that I said before. So in my background back here, I have an Oculus Quest 2. It's right by that firewall box. And then on top of my Vibe box is my Quest 1. And I actually go back and forth between these two headsets more often than you would think. And the reason why is I have I have two primary Oculus accounts basically. And one Oculus account hasn't been converted over to Facebook. And that one lives on my Oculus Quest 1. And then my other Oculus account has been converted to Facebook. And that lives on my Oculus Quest 2. And because I have games trapped between them, and the family sharing isn't going to work in this case because it hasn't been converted to Facebook. That's one of the incentives, right? So I have these two headsets. And I go back and forth between them all the time. And it's so unfortunate, man, because when all the information broke about the Quest 2, when that information first happened, everybody just went into an absolute panic to sell their existing Quest. It was like, oh shit, XR2, freaking way higher resolution, like, oh my God, I have to do this. So everybody, like so many people, panic sold their Quests and just freaking dumped them hella quick, which was a dumb move, first of all, because if they held that Quest until like 2 weeks before Christmas, they would have got way more money selling it then. But really, you shouldn't sell your Quest 1 if you could somehow help it. If you could somehow hold on to both headsets like I've held on to both headsets, it's an awesome thing, because a game like that, like Sports Scramble, that OLED screen, the vivid bright colors, the dark blacks, there are some advantages, no joke. And of course, I am an outlier. Like my IPD is 70/71, and I have to set it to the third setting. And on the third setting of the Oculus Quest 2, I'm able to play the Oculus Quest 2, and I don't worry about it that much. Like, I'm still able to have a good time in the Oculus Quest 2. But for me, what happens is, like, one of my eyes will kind of be sharp, the other eye will be a little bit out of focus. And that's just the IPD, not having that native IPD slider. And with my Oculus Quest 1, of course, I can slide it all the way to 70 and get an absolutely beautiful picture, no distortion or anything like that. If you can only buy one, you're going to buy an Oculus Quest 2 because it's a future forward product. We know there's going to be an Oculus Quest 3. Now, when will the Oculus Quest 3 arrive? Well, Sony, I mean, now that Facebook and Oculus is aware that Sony is going to have a major headset coming at some point in 2022, there could be some incentive on Facebook's part to almost go head to head in a way and actually time both of these headsets around the same time so that the Quest 3 can go head to head with PlayStation VR 2, and people that are deciding to buy one or the other have to really think about it because they're both going to be arriving right around the same time. That's certainly possible. But so you still have at least a year, maybe more, with this XR2 chipset, which hasn't really been utilized all that much yet. But there are games that are enhanced. You know, there's certain games that are a little bit more enhanced. For example, we got the Quest, the Climb 2 is coming out next week, I believe. And that one, I don't have the trailer. I have the trailer for the original Climb. But like some of these games will perform a little bit better with that XR2. So yeah, you might as well have the Quest 2. And especially with the Franken mod, I've actually had the Franken mod on both of these things. And they're good with both of them. But the Quest 2 being 10% lighter, that is a pretty good bonus for use with the Franken mod. So from a comfort standpoint and everything. But people threw the baby out with the bathwater. When everybody panic sold their Quest 1, terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. I get it though, because if you're in like, you know, if you're struggling and if like bills need to be paid and like money is tight, you know, you're going to sell that Quest 1 to get that Quest 2. I understand that. It's perfectly logical. So let's see here. Where's there some other stuff I wanted to get to? Ah, yeah, there is something else I want to get to real quick. Let me see if I have the trailer for that. If not, we can go ahead and check out the Steam page. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so, and of course, see, looking up trailers is taking too long now. I need to figure out a better way to do this. Okay, so what I will do is let's just go to the Steam page, right? And the Steam page has changed. Cosmo Dread. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention, did you guys hear about this? So we got a release date for this. So this is locked in March 25th. Cosmo Dread. I kind of like the old name better, man. I like the old name better. But they, like everybody that replied, and here's toxic positivity, right? The toxic positivity on Twitter, strong with this one. Strong with this one. Here's some honest reaction. Nah, bro. Previous name was better. I get it. You want to have dread halls. You want to have the connection. And then there's like Phasmagoria or whatever. You don't want people getting confused. So it's like, yeah, let's name it Cosmo Dread. But I like Cosmophobia better. I really did. But yeah, this is coming on March 25th. It's also coming to the Oculus Quest, I believe, day and date. The only platform that matters, of course. No, but in the real business world, in the mass market world, that's a true statement, man. It's a true statement. You know it's true. You know it's true. You know it's true. All right. So yeah, Cosmo Dread, name change. We did get a date, March 25th. So it's been slow. Has anybody else noticed that? That it has been slow in the VR gaming world as of late. Like it's been pretty friggin' slow, man. Let me see. I'm going to go to VR game rankings. It's been slow. Because let's take a look at like the top 100 most wanted PC VR games. Like the names that are on this list, they've been here, man. They've been here. And we don't have a lot of dates for these games. Like, you know, so Lone Echo 2, still haven't heard a peep. Not a single peep about Lone Echo 2. We don't know anything about Lone Echo 2. Now, of course, if we go to the Oculus Quest most wanted list really quick, we'll know something about this. You go to the Oculus Quest most wanted list, you can see number 2 Lone Echo rumor. It's a rumor that Lone Echo 2 is coming to the Oculus Quest. And it's also a rumor that this might be one of the first XR2 exclusive Quest games, and the PC version deliberately being delayed well over a year for a date and date arrival. Quest 2 and PC VR. Date and date. That's a rumor. That's a rumor. But maybe that's why we haven't heard a damn thing about Lone Echo in all this time. But it still ranks number 1 top 100 most wanted upcoming PC VR games. Of course, Resident Evil 4 VR. A lot of people don't think this is a thing. But dude, that freaking leak was legit. So it's just, reputable people aren't going to report on this because they don't want to piss off Capcom. I have no worries about pissing off Capcom. That's pretty much in the bag. After the fall, I'm kind of surprised no release date yet for After the Fall. It's February 24th. You know, I'm looking at my calendar right now. It is February 24th. If you asked me in November, would we have a release date for After the Fall by February 24th? I would have said, hell yeah, we would. In fact, maybe it'll already have been out. But it's not out. We don't have a release date, but we are hyped for it. Project 4 by Stress Level Zero. This is looking like it's moving into the year 2022, ladies and gentlemen, because we don't have a final name and we don't have any more additional information. Stress Level Zero. But you know what? Boneworks was the shizzles. So they can take as long as they damn well please. But it would be cool if they gave us a little bit of a teaser. And they said they were going to give us some, like they said there was going to be some new information soon. Vertigo 2. So that whole Vertigo remaster thing, I mean, the Vertigo remastered is awesome. And I'm glad he did it. But goddamn, it delayed Vertigo 2 for a solid year. So we're still waiting on Vertigo 2. But the point that I'm trying to make here, guys, is it's been kind of a dry season recently, folks. It's been a dry season. We have not been hammered with heavy-hitting PC VR releases. It's been drier than dry. Okay, Firmament is still out there. Sniper Elite. Here's another one. I'm surprised we haven't got a date on Sniper Elite yet. Lo-Fi, of course, we're still checking for that. Personally, we're thinking maybe late summer 2021. I know it is second quarter, I believe, on the Steam page. Wraith the Oblivion. So we know this one is coming this spring. We still don't have a release date on that. But at least of these top 10 games, Wraith the Oblivion might be the first of the bunch. You know, is Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife? Is it going to be the first of all 10 of these to arrive? What do you guys think? I mean, the only other chance, I mean, there's still a chance After the Fall could have a release date and be out. Sniper Elite. Nah, I'm thinking Wraith is probably going to be the first one of this bunch. Lawn. Do not slip on Lawn. Do not slip on Lawn. Okay, Zenith. Zenith is ranked pretty high, but have you seen the recent footage? Not exactly a graphical stunner. Not exactly a graphical stunner. Also, probably ain't going to make this year if we're really honest with that. Undead Citadel. Whatever happened to this game? This game disappeared into the mist. But spring 2021. 9. The Splintered Mind. Warhammer 40K. Age of Sigmar. That's Carbon Studio. Carbon Studio, Busy Beavers. Remember, they're still bringing the Wizards to the second Wizards to the Quest. Blunt Force, the demo of that was pretty whack. The demo was not that great, but we hope that Blunt Force is still in development. I mean, it looked incredible, the trailer and everything, and it looks good when you're in the game, but the demo wasn't very impressive for anybody that did get to try that Blunt Force demo. Although I believe the developer said the demo was incredibly early and it was buggy and stuff, you know. Myst is still out there. The PC VR version of Myst is obviously, it's a time delay. We don't know how long the time delay is, but it's definitely a time delay. We're waiting on that. Hyperdash is coming soon. Green Hell. So this was Green Hell VR was rumored for a long time. For a long time, there was this rumor about Green Hell VR, but it was unofficial. So in the old days, we could have had one of these rumor stamps on it, but it is official. Incuvo Studio is going to be handling development duties for Green Hell VR, and it's tentatively scheduled for third quarter. Rhythm of the Universe. I actually played a little demo of Rhythm of the Universe Ionia. It's, I mean, I can't judge it off the demo, but it's like a, you know, it's like a little experiential kind of like chill kind of world. It seemed pretty cool, but I don't know if it has enough action, Jackson. Ilzia, the RPG by Team 21 Studio. Eye of the Temple. Okay, Awake In comes out tomorrow, brah. Awake In comes out tomorrow, brah. So let's take a look at Awake In. I have not played this game. I don't have a preview build or anything. A notice to developers out there, if you want me to try your game, send me a key. Just send me a key, but no strings attached. Here's what you want to do. Developers out there with banging VR games or even subpar VR games, what you do is you email me a key and you say, Anthony, here's a key to our VR game. And you know what? There's no pressure on you whatsoever. So you don't need to write an article about this. You don't need to post a video about this. I just want you to play my game and enjoy it if you enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, well, you don't enjoy it. But man, I just want you to have this game, check it out. And you know, if it strikes your fancy, then that's awesome. If only emails were like that. I don't request keys anymore. I do not request keys anymore because you know what? You request a key and you owe them your firstborn son and shit. They're in that ass about like, what are your plans? How are you going to reveal this? Are you writing a review? Is it going to be on your channel? Has the video been on your channel yet? Like fools need to get like back the F up. Back the F up. Way over aggressive with that. It's just a bad look. You know, it's a bad look. Just like, I mean, I get it. You're gonna try to market your game. You're gonna try to steer the early perception of your game. But this is why I don't request any games no more. I do not request no games no more, man. Because it's like, nah, I'll play your game, and it's like, if I enjoy it and if it speaks to me, this is the thing I'll tell any developer out there. I will play your game. I'll try it. And if it speaks to me, I'll damn sure talk about it. And if it really speaks to me, I'm going to be talking about it for years. That's the good news. The bad news is if it's garbage and it's like, and I got to talk about it because it's in the news, it's a popular game, I got to say that as well. So it's a dual-edged sword. And so I don't get many keys, man. I don't get many keys because I think people know, like, I'm not sugarcoating nothing. Like, remember that one game that just came out recently? But yeah, so Awake In comes out tomorrow. You know, I've seen the videos for this, and I've seen the screenshots and stuff, and I understand the premise and everything, and this does look cool. Like, this does look cool. They made the screenshots look really sweet, you know? Like these early screenshots where they're using like this depth of field thing, and you know, it's like, whoa, look at that, man. It's like captured from like inside the world by a paparazzi photographer inside the world. He was hiding right behind that bush, man. But it does look nice. I like the looks of this, and I like the whole concept. You know, and I would like to play this. I think it might be coming to Viveport. See, that's my defense, brah. When it comes, like, I don't request any keys. You know why? Because it's coming to Viveport, baby. It's coming to Viveport. For example, you know what the best PC VR game is so far this year? It is my boy, Vin VR Adventure. And it actually came out on the Oculus Store for Rift in December of last year. So this actually technically came out last year. but on Steam, it came out this year on January 28th. Positive. It should be very positive. This game is damn good. It's kind of expensive, though. I mean, $29.99. I mean, I understand. I got it on Viveport, brah. So I didn't have to pay the money, man. So I don't have that investment in it like y'all do at the 30 bones. I got it with Viveport. So maybe my opinion of it is but dude, look at those platforms. Like, those platforms look really good in VR. And the sprawling levels, like, dude, this game is impressive. Vin VR Adventure is impressive. Monologic Games, honestly, you guys went way above and beyond the call. I was not expecting this. No way. Now, does this game have faults? Hell yeah. But does it have like snow worlds and lava worlds and shit like that? Yes, it does. See, I used to be a platformer guy. I love platformers. So, I love platformers, and this is a traditional platty-ass platformer. You know, it reminds me of Sly Cooper, Crash Bandicoot. I'm reminded of Sly Cooper, Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. The biggest negative I can say about this game is you've really got to pay attention to this little circular shadow that is under your little Vin guy to see where he lands. Otherwise, you're going to have an unbelievable number of frustrating deaths because you accidentally slipped off of something just barely. You really got to watch. There's like a shadow that's... see this little circle? See that little circle right there? You got to watch for that. And so in the very beginning when I was playing this, I would die all the time. And I'd be like, oh man, you can't even really tell where he's going to land. And then I realized, oh no, they put a proper... that circle is there for a reason. So it takes you out of the immersion of enjoying the game a little bit, you know, when you're looking for this like specific indicator that is very video gamey, but it does the job. And there's just so many different levels. And yeah, it's very beautiful. It's colorful. It's kind of like, you know, platformer by numbers. I mean, it's pretty standard platformy fare, and it's probably too easy. Like, if there is a criticism of Vin VR Adventure, it's too easy. But yeah, I think this is, and it's a bit on the pricey side. You know, I'm sure, you know, I'd love to buy this for like $24.99 and $19.99. I mean, I would like, it's too good for $19.99. So the lowest I could see this would be $24.99. But, you know, when you do get to $29.99, I mean, people are expecting a hell of a lot. That is just the way it is in this world. But yeah, so Awaken is coming out tomorrow. We'll have to see how the reviews shake out for that game. Oh, by the way, here's an interesting question. So of all the YouTubers out there or different people in the media or whatever, whose reviews do you trust the most? Whose reviews do you trust the most? And don't say me, because I don't do reviews enough, and usually I'm just giving first impressions. So I don't really do reviews, but I'm curious who you guys think has the best reviews, or like you trust their reviews. Like you've never like, oh man, this fool raved about it, I bought it, and it's ass. I mean, I know you guys refund shit on Steam. See, I never refund games either. I mean, I just don't do that, but... Okay, so Eye of the Temple. You know, Eye of the Temple is still coming. Still excited about that. Drive-By. Drive-By by Raptor Lab is ranked 23rd, and you are sleeping if you're not paying attention to this, because it might be an incredibly poor man's version of some aspects of Grand Theft Auto in VR. Drive-By might give you a little bit of that Grand Theft Auto Online feel in certain ways. A very, very poor man's version, and a very small little, like definitely not actually fulfilling the dream. But for somebody, but if you're starving, you know what I mean? Like if you're dying of thirst, a little sip of water is pretty good. And that could be a little sip of water for somebody that really wants that Grand Theft Auto 5 online driving around VR experience. Okay, RU77 by Mirrorwind has a really cool look to it. Demio, District Steel. Dude, I'm not giving up hope on District Steel. Like, I still believe in District Steel. I'm never giving up on District Steel. We've ranked District Steel for like 3 years now. And I'm not even freaking kidding with that. District Steel. But dude, this game looks so good. Barricade Studio. I believe they're in the Netherlands, I think. But yeah, there's a couple of videos out there. I just love the metallic feeling of this game. And it reminds me of like a very, very, very late 90s or very early 2000 PC game. There's something about it. I love it. District Steel by Barricade Studio. I'm still checking for it. I am still checking for it after all these years. Stones of Harlath. Stones of Harlath is made by the Theta Legion people, and I believe that is dated for April 22nd. So that isn't super far away. Remember Blair Witch VR. Blair Witch VR by Bloober Studio is still going to be coming to PC VR platforms at a certain point. That is a timed exclusive. So that will come to PC platforms at a certain point. Cosmo Dread, coming in at number 29, March 25th. Cosmo Dread in the building, trying to do things. VR Skater by Deficit Games. These guys are on Twitter. I haven't seen a Steam page for this yet, but I've seen their tweets. They're always showing like somebody doing some kind of freaking 360 backflip or some shit. And they're like, yeah, it feels good. I don't know, man. See, the problem with VR Skater, here's my problem with VR Skater. We need that full body tracking where it captures my feet. I wonder if VR Skater has an option where if you have Vive trackers, or you could like take Vive controllers and like duct tape them to your feet. If you could actually have your feet on the board while you're playing, that would be hella sweet. Although you'd probably get, like, I don't understand how the motion sickness aspect is going to work either. I'm very curious to try VR Skater, brah. Rise of the Titan. Does this game still exist? Well, it might actually still exist because you know what? They changed their Steam page and put 2022 on there. And there hadn't been any action on that Steam page in the longest freaking time. So maybe Rise of the Titan does exist by Lightbound Studios. Mask Maker by Inner Space VR. 420, brah! It is 420, brah! Sponsored by Canada. Sponsored by Canada. Mask Maker. Inner Space VR coming on April 20th. And Mare. Let us not forget about Mare by Vision Trek Media. Yeah, it came to the Quest, and it's getting all that Quest money, and it loves that Quest money, that good Quest money. Ooh, that good Quest money feels so good for Mare. But it's still going to come to PC VR platforms at a certain point in time. Okay, Alvo, Mardompole, still banging away. Now, at number 35, you want to talk about an interesting game, Captain Toonhead. Captain Toonhead versus the Space Punks, or the Punks from Outer Space or some shit. Captain Toonhead, let me look it up. Captain Toon, brah. Wait, what happened? I just saw it. No, I don't see it. Oh, here we go. Captain Toonhead versus the Punks from Outer Space. TerraVision Games. All right, look. I don't know a damn thing about TerraVision Games. I don't know TerraVision Games from Adam, as you might say. But goddamn, if this trailer isn't fan-friggin-tastic. This trailer is awesome. Like, I want to find out who made this trailer, and could you make me a nice VR 365 intro? Because I do like this trailer. This is dope. It has a really good look to it. It is very Technicolor, like a mofo. This is one for the OLED people out there with those vibrant colors. those vibrant colors of the CV1. The CV1 was anything but vibrant, though. For real, dude. I remember I used to play Lucky's Tale on my HTC Vive, and that shit was Technicolor. And then when I got my CV1, I was like, damn, who freaking made it black and white? Who made Lucky's Tale black and white? All right, but dude, I love this trailer, though. I really do, and I love the color. And this shit looks pretty fucking, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm swearing way too much. I'm sorry. I haven't done this show in so long. But dude, look at how colorful this thing looks. It also looks almost like too much, like overboard, like, overloaded, like almost a little bit too crazy. But I do want to check that out. And there is a bug in the building. But yeah, that does look pretty cool. That is Captain Toonhead versus the punks from outer space, coming in the first half of 2021 by TerraVision Games, a truly first-person tower defense designed from the ground up for VR. This is not your diorama-style VR tower defense. So it's a tower defense game. Not necessarily like my favorite genre by a long shot, but it does look absolutely gorgeous. So that is Captain Toonhead. But yeah, basically the topic that I was on here is I was just saying that it's been relatively slow in the PC VR gaming world, that a lot of the most wanted PC VR games have been the same most wanted PC VR games for a long time. We're still waiting for them. If you really do need something new, let's go back to Steam. Let me just actually see. So what is the recent releases actually? Let me see. So new and trending. Let me go ahead and do browse all new releases. Oh, that Gorilla Tag thing. So everybody and their mom's been talking about Gorilla Tag, and I don't know a damn thing about it. I don't know anything about Gorilla Tag. I've heard about it on Twitter a lot, but I don't know nothing about it. Battle Scar finally came out, I guess, over here on Steam, because I think it was on Oculus. So Gorilla Tag, everybody loves this shit. I've never even seen a screenshot. Like I have, oh my God, I don't know nothing about this shit. Oh, run, jump, and climb using only your hands. Play tag or infection with people online. This is crazy. Another Axiom. Free to play. It's free to play, so anybody can try it. Guess I got to try it if everybody... Like somebody... Didn't Nathy say that this is his favorite VR game of 2021 or some shit? So, better than Vin VR Adventure, Gorilla Tag. I know nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. But, so, looking at recent releases, All Deus Beyond Chronos was a pretty big release. That's a relatively big game. Not my flavor, personally. But, yeah, I just don't think that there's been anything that has come out recently that really does anything major for me. But, But yeah, so those are recent releases. I can tell you guys, though, that Z-Race, of course, they just released their brand new gameplay trailer, and the game is coming out on March 2nd. And also, I am going to have a little Let's Play, an early look at a prototype version of this game is going to be on my channel, VR365, very, very soon. Very, very soon. It'll probably be the first video of this kind on YouTube with actual gameplay of Z-Race, early prototype version. So look forward to that. And yeah, there is a new gameplay trailer for that. And dude, all the ships and stuff, all the YouTuber ships, really quite cool. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much going to go ahead and do it for this episode of VR365. I know it's been forever. I also know I had like a weird energy, weird attitude, weird vibe. And that's part of it, man. I haven't done this in a while. Honestly, didn't really want to do this. I honestly did. I just felt like I had to do it. I accidentally had my Patreon turned on this month, and that should have been turned off. I'm going to definitely turn off my Patreon in the month of March to try to make up for this, because I've only done like one other video this entire month. You can find me on MRTV's Next Dimension podcast most Saturdays. I've been on like almost every single show. I think I've only missed one episode. So I'm pretty much a regular, and you know I'm going to be talking smack. You know I'm going to be talking about this PlayStation VR thing. And look, I know I was way too negative on PlayStation VR 2, but it's just because I had high hopes. I had higher hopes. I was really hoping that they might freaking try to slay the dragon, but they want no part of the dragon. They don't want the dragon. Alrighty, but anyways, let me see. Let me get my normal little outro thing that I used to use. I mean, I'm so discombobulated, man. I haven't done this in so long. Do not know what I'm doing. But yeah, anyway, guys, that'll go ahead and do it for this impromptu episode of VR 365. Episode 380, I think, which is pretty freaking incredible. There's actually been 380 of this sort of thing. A live podcast that I do, you know, and it's off the cuff. And that's why there are F-bombs and things like that. And I apologize for that. It's unfortunate. Should I maybe film all of this and edit the hell out of it and then release it? Probably, but didn't have time to do that. All right, so that'll basically wrap it up for this particular episode of VR 365. I will see you guys next time. Everybody take it easy, and later.